Was passt? Jakob ist ein bisschen größer als seine Zwillingsschwester. Susannes neuer Freund sieht nicht sehr gut aus. Er hat einen dicken Bauch. No. This is not a German class. Möchten Sie auch Deutsch lernen? Oder sollen wir über Ke-Jetronic sprechen? Ha? Was meint ihr? Dakle, na ovom času ćemo da pričamo o Ke-Jetroniku i kako Ke-Jetronic utiče na zdravlje ljudi. Oh no. Sorry, wrong language again. Hola meus amigos, neste vídeo nós vamos falar sobre Ke-Jetronic e como é que vocês vão diagnosticar o problema do Ke-Jetronic. English, Ivica, English. Na engleskom mamlazu. Here? Would you also like to read this? Okay, that's for me. Okay, now we speak English. In this video, I would like to greet all my recent subscribers who subscribe to the channel. Hello, and thank you all for subscribing to my channel. Almost that it's gonna be 3,000 of us here on this channel. We're talking here about Ke-Jetronic, and as I put it in my description of the channel, I would like to demystify Ke-Jetronic. Well, this is not the topic of the video. Actually, just a moment. No. To set my haircut. Now, I would like also to greet my older subscribers and all my fans, all of those that respect this channel. Well, greetings for all of you. I don't know your names, but I believe there are many of you. Okay, now in this video I would like to tell you something, a secret. I would like in this video to tell you how to diagnose a problem, an issue on your car, because this is Ke-Jetronic. Here you must be a repairman yourself, for yourselves. And I had many questions, people asking me something like this, for example. It was, my car won't start, and I don't know what I should do when I have to stop at the junction. My car dies. What should I do? During this time on internet, many people claimed that I helped them repair their cars. Many of them wrote many positive comments for me. Many of them praised me, so to speak, saying that I was a guru or something like that, a wizard. Well, that I like that. I cannot say that I don't. And thank you for all those comments. But there are people that maybe read those comments and then they really think that I'm the almighty Ke-Jetronic solver. I want to say an issue solver. And many of them then contact me and ask me for help. I think they believe that I can solve their issue just like that. Well, people, listen to me. This is Ke-Jetronic, and a quick solving issue here does not exist. You must perform here an entire check through the whole system. Well, I can only guess what it is about. And in order for you not to guess, but to know exactly what it is about and what's the issue troubleshooting you, I made here a list, and a list where I am going to show you how to repair your cars. And how to repair your cars and not to wander as I. From this to this, from fuel pressure regulator up to the EHA, and then from the EHA back to the fuel pump, and so on and so on. I was just in the beginning just learning and reading. This makes the consumption lower, this too, but no. This is how you're going to be doing this. There are 4 major steps in repairing Ke-Jetronic. The first step, it is vacuum leaks. All your vacuum leaks. So that includes all your rubber hoses. Look at this. Okay, not so bad. But look at this. Knock, knock. Yo! Ouch! Or this one. Nobody inside. Nothing. That includes also this. This, to be more precise. This is rubber also, and if this gets cracked, then you will have vacuum leaks. These two. This is an injector holder. Here. This is the injector, and that's the holder. I was telling you about. See? And when they get older, they get stiff, so there you can also have vacuum leaks. And some more places I'm going to show that. That's why it's a good way to do the smoke test, because the smoke is going to show you precisely where there is a leak. Well, where the smoke goes from, well, I think you get the picture. Okay. The second step, the ignition. I was talking about that in my previous video. I'm going to post the card here. The third step includes the mechanics. So, for this step, it is mandatory to have a pressure gauge. You cannot do this step without it, without measuring your pressures. So, the fuel pump. The first thing you will have to do, that would be to jack up your car. Go somewhere to your friends or to your mechanics if you know someone that would jack up your car for you to be easier, because there is a lid that protects that protects I don't know what's with me this night. So under this lid we have the pump, the fuel filter, and the fuel accumulator. You have just 3 screws, 10 millimeter. You need a spanner 10, and then you can take the whole lid off. I would recommend you here. So this is something what I'm doing. I would call this video my way. Wait a minute, no, I didn't expect to hear Frank Sinatra, and I didn't want to hear the song. This is about Ke-Jetronic. Okay. So, you start the car and you listen to the pump. And if the pump sounds like this, if you hear the pump louder, then it is a sign that the pump got weaker. And you're going to see that afterwards on your pressure gauge. That's the first thing. Then you take your pressure gauge, you measure both the primary and the secondary pressure. And then in order to see what you're dealing with. And now, when measuring these pressures, there are many people. Someone would say it's enough to crank the engine, or it's good enough to bridge the pump. No, not that way. My way. And my way says you have to start the car and to observe the pressure gauge. And while observing the pressure gauge, you have to see whether this pressure is falling or not while your engine is on. And not just to have the value, and that's it. When you start the car, then you press the accelerator. What are we doing here? Okay, so that's about the pump. The next thing in the row would be the fuel pressure regulator, because these are two key components on the whole system. You have to create the pressure, and there is something that has to hold this pressure firmly and steady, however you want it. So the next step would be then the injectors. And you would have to check the injectors, but I'm going to be talking about this a bit later. If we have to replace them or not. And now we have the next component, the fuel distributor. It's a unit. And in order to preserve your fuel distributor, don't drive on reserve, don't pour ethanol containing gas, and now there are some more cases when you have to doubt this part. If your engine shakes and your spark plugs are all okay, if your injectors are okay, then it's the fuel distributor. But in the reality, you would have to deal with this unit only if your car has not been started for years, but literally for years. In order to check your fuel distributor, if you doubt the fuel distributor, let me show you. Here we have the example of a 6-cylinder fuel distributor. You will have to unscrew all these metal holders, metal pipes, and then you will have to bridge the contacts 8 and 7. Now, and as you do, the first step would be just to observe the fuel distributor. As you do that, this is the picture you're gonna get. Now, you just want to observe these ports. If no fuel comes out of these 6, in this case, 4, 6, or 8 maybe, then your fuel distributor is okay. The next step would be to gently press this plate and to see how much fuel is coming out of these ports, to see if you get the same quantity of fuel out of all the ports. If that's okay, then the next step for you would be to unscrew all the injectors, all these, and then to put inside, instead of these injectors, to put 6 bottles, but they must be clean. You don't want Pepsi or Coca-Cola inside of your of your fuel tank, or then later in the fuel distributor, or anything else. Those 6 bottles must be extremely clean. And then you bridge the contacts 7 and 8, and you deflect all the way down this guy, and you measure the flow for 1 whole minute. The same thing you can do easily. Then you would have to just press to see how much flow you have, simulating idle. That's the second time for 1 minute again. And that's the way to check the fuel distributor. If you get same quantities, well, there is no reason, and believe me, there is really no reason to be messing up with this unit. In let's say it 95% of all the cases, you don't have to be messing up with the fuel distributor. Everything around that, and never touch it in case you really need to do that. Afterwards, you will have to check the fuel accumulator. This test is a boring one. Why? For this test, you need a pressure gauge that you're going to mount on your lower chamber at your fuel distributor. You will have to find a chair and take a watch or a clock. Why? Because as you start the car and the ICV does its job, you wait for about 10 seconds and then you stall the engine. As you stall the engine, the pressure must drop to 3 bars. And now, take that chair, sit on it, and you will have to be gazing at the pressure gauge for half an hour. In these 30 minutes, the pressure must not fall under 3 bars. If it does, Well, you will have to replace the fuel accumulator because you won't be able to start a warm engine that easy. Then the next thing is the airflow meter. You will have to check the airflow meter if you know what I've been talking. If this thing does not rub its edges and okay, that would be pretty much it. Check for the cold start valve if everything's okay in order to start your cold engine easier. As for the fuel filter, replace it each 50,000 kilometers. And that concludes the mechanics. Now we go to the electronics. The first one of the sensors you will have to check now. It would be the potentiometer. Then the TPS, the CTS, the O2 sensor, if present, the cutoff switch, the OVP, and the AC compressor, if you have one. As you check these sensors, if they give all the nominal values they should give, then you go to the output sensors. Let's call them like that. These previous ones, they send all the information to the ECU, and as ECU processes all that data, it creates the current in amps, and it sends to 4 crucial components to the EHA. Check the EHA also if there is a leak, if it leaks. If it does so, replace it. It cannot be repaired. You can just draw your finger just like this, where the EHA is, or you can simply start the engine and look at its hose if there is a gas leak. Well, then you will have to replace the EHA. The second one is the ICV, if it opens as it has to, or if it is stuck, then you will have to clean the ICV. There are 2 more of these components. As I have said, it's X11 round diagnostic and X11/4. That's your diagnostics. Then you can find an OBD1 scanner and do this diagnostics. You can do it with a wire, or you can buy an OBD1 scanner and do that This X11/4 is located by the battery. That rectangular shaped thing. After all of this, if there is still an issue, then you can contact me. If you have checked everything the way I have told you, and you still have issues, well, we can try to fix those. Each 50,000 kilometers, replace the O2 sensor and the fuel filter. For example, if there is a problem with the O2 sensor, now I'm talking about that what I promised I'm going to be talking. If there is an issue, for example, in order not to waste your time checking it, just look at the mileage you have made. And then, the O2 sensor has to be replaced each 50,000 kilometers, and I have, for example, 165,000. So this means that up until now, the O2 sensor or the lambda probe had to be replaced at least 3 times. And if you see that you still have an original lambda probe, I wouldn't bother myself checking the sensor. I would replace it immediately. The same goes for the injectors too. For example, in order not to take them off and then to perform that test about checking the injectors, whether they're squirting, dripping, or there is no spray at all, blah blah blah. For example, under 70,000 kilometers, replace them. Don't waste your time. And so on. I think you get the picture. The same goes for the potentiometer. Just check the potentiometer in order to see if it is good operating or not, but be prepared to replace it. Check the coolant temperature sensor. I'm going to post the links all here up. And that would be pretty much everything. This is the way you check your Ke-Jetronic. I'm sorry, but that's KE. Either you're gonna love it or you're gonna get rid of it. No third solution. And, well, what should I say more? This cannot harm everything I told you. And as it cannot harm, it can be useful for you. So that would be everything for me for this video. So my dear ones, if you enjoyed this video, then please don't click the button skip ad. It is going to help me a lot. And till the next video, happy Mercedesing!